Welcome back into today's video. We're going to have a look at the Japanese model today, as we usually do every Friday. It's JMA Friday. We'll have a month-end update from the Japanese model, so have a look at it in a moment. Also have a look at some charts for next week. Got some quite interesting patterns emerging for next week. Looks like it may warm up and turn quite settled for a short time, but then we might get retrogression and some northerly winds. So I'll talk about all that in a moment. Also going to have a look at tomorrow's wet and windy conditions, but before I get on with all of that, just to make sure we advertise my video ads on my pages at GazWeatherViz.com. If you hit play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GazWeatherViz.com. Thanks very much for doing that. So we're going to start off with tomorrow's wet and windy weather. This is the high resolution Euro 4 model UK Met Office product from the website Weather Online. You can find a link to Weather Online on my links page. This is rainfall, precipitation forecast. We're going to have some heavy showers across northern England through the course of this afternoon. We've had them this morning. They're going to clear away actually through the course of this afternoon. Some heavy showers over Scotland though, but many areas are going to turn dry this afternoon with a few bright sunny spells. But we're going to have wet and windy weather rolling in overnight through the course of this evening. The rain will be arriving across Ireland, parts of southwestern England, and that will spread northwards and eastwards through the course of tonight and into the early hours of Saturday morning. So really quite wet and windy by the time we get up at 6 AM on Saturday. And then the rain will just push eastwards through the course of the morning, relentlessly sweeping across the country. It could get a bit stuck across southeastern parts of England actually through the course of the morning, so it could be quite wet down in the southeast. Maybe get lots of heavy showers following behind them. The worst winds will be in the south, up the channel, very breezy, and generally southern counties of England having pretty strong winds through the course of Saturday, to be honest. Bringing through these bands of heavy showers, particularly affecting England and Wales. Well, really from southwest to Scotland and Northern Ireland southwards, that's where the bands of heavy showers will be. You can get the idea here that they're merging into longer spells of rain in places, so proper showery sort of afternoon, Saturday afternoon, once that persistent rain clears away. And evening to 6 AM on Sunday morning, which is as far as we go with Euro 4 model, 48 hours away. Still the suggestion that lots of heavy showers across the country, still banding together across many parts of the country in the early hours or the early part of Sunday morning. So a really unsettled spell coming up. Winds are going to be going northwesterly on Sunday as well, so temperatures will be taking quite a dip. So let's see how long this unsettled weather is going to go on for. This is the Japanese update. As I said, we've got the Japanese update as we do every Friday for the month ahead. Breaking down into weekly periods, 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. The first weekly period will be taking us from a week that we're currently in, the 8th to the 15th of May. What you need to know, of course, if you watch this regularly, you'll know this, but if you don't, this is the first time I need to just explain the charts upside down. So we're just there. What we're seeing for the first weekly 500 millibar height anomaly period is that we're bringing the jet stream right through the country. We've got high pressure down to the southern area, high pressure around these doors, reaching into Spain, Portugal. We've got low pressure, quite a deep area of low pressure running to the north of the country. So that's quite an unsettled pattern really for the coming week. It typifies the sort of unsettled condition that we're currently in. We're going to remain in through the weekend and into the start of next week, with low pressure really dominating to the north and northwest, but high pressure down to the southwest, and bringing in that strong jet stream across the country. Now, as we go through to the second weekly period, which will be taking us from the 15th to the 22nd of May, and I'm not sure how reliable this is, because I'm going to show you some charts from the generic models in a moment. They're quite interesting, so I'm not sure how reliable this is, but what the Japanese model is showing anyway is an area of above average heights then setting up right over the top of the country through that middle part of May. Now, I think that could be right for a time. You may well get high pressure building in later next week. As I say, this is taking us from the 15th to 22nd, so later next week you may get that area of high pressure building in for a time, but quite how long that's going to last, I'm not sure. Nevertheless, the Japanese is indicating a basically fine week through the course of that middle part of May. And then finally going out to the second 2-weekly period, which we're taking us to the 22nd to the 5th of June. Then we lose the above average heights, we lose the yellows, pushing up towards Greenland, actually hint of a bit of northern blocking up there, and we set up this trough of low pressure out to the west. The jet stream is coming through something like that, so it wouldn't necessarily be cold with that sort of anomaly, because I think we're just about bringing up southerly winds actually with that jet stream. But with a low pressure just to the west of the country, it would be unsettled. There'd be more rain coming in off the Atlantic, and we've got to watch out for this area of high pressure setting up over Greenland. That is a hint of northern blocking, and if that came off and intensified, then we could get into a proper cool and unsettled spell through the latter parts of May. So let's have a look at the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles next. We've got quite interesting temperature ensembles here. We're going to be going a bit below average through the weekend and into the start of next week. We're going below red line. Of course, red line is where we should be at this time of year, as you know. Going a bit below average through weekend is next week. Then the idea is that we really do pick the temperatures up through the latter stages of next week, so it could get quite warm. So that's when the Japanese one, the JMA, is building that high pressure in. I think it could well be right with that, but notice from around the 17th, 18th of May onwards, we get a huge amount of scatter then setting up. That's being caused by the ensemble members not really knowing where that high pressure is going. It builds in, it warms it up, it settles it down for a time. Where does it go? If it goes north, and some of the ensemble members, including the operational room, want to take that high pressure north, retrogress it out into the Atlantic and up towards Greenland. If it does that, then we start to see the temperatures pushing back down again, and it becomes really quite cool. But you get the idea for this, that not all the ensemble members by any means are doing that. Some are keeping it quite warm. We're also drying out a little bit, got quite a lot of precipitation to come through the weekend and into the start of next week. Quite a few rainfall spikes, but as we get through to the middle and latter stages of next week, those rainfall spikes do ease off, and that's as that area of high pressure is building in. Now, have a very quick look at the temperature anomaly for May. It's not coming up on my charts. I'm not sure what's gone wrong with that, why it's not coming up, so we won't have a look at the temperature anomalies. Instead, we'll have a look at the generic GFS, and this is what it's seeing for the middle of next week. High pressure building in from the southwest, so that's when the Japanese wants to build that high pressure in. I think it's right with that. The high pressure should build in through the middle of next week, and as we go through to the last stage of next week, that high pressure becomes nice range across the country. Yeah, a nice area of high pressure building in through the last stages of next week and into next weekend, and that's going to turn it really quite warm actually, with temperatures possibly getting up into the low 20s through the last stage of next week. This is suggesting 21, 22, that's into the 70s Fahrenheit. Really quite warm for a time. That high pressure still does go into next weekend, but notice it's pulling out into the Atlantic. We saw that on the GFS temperature ensembles, the high pressure pulling out into the Atlantic, and some of those ensemble members are dropping. This is one of them that does drop the temperatures, because with the high pressure retrogressing, which remember is going from west to east, is going from east to west as opposed to west to east, which is the normal flow, the zonal flow. Retrogression takes high pressure out into the Atlantic and sends it up to Greenland, and there it goes on Sunday the 18th. High pressure pushing out to west of the country, bring down this northerly wind across the country on Sunday 18th, and we end up in really quite a cold push of northerly air with that high pressure setting up out to the west of the country. So it implies that may get a few days, 2 or 3 days of fine, settled and warm weather at the end of next week, but then watch out, because if the winds go into the north, it could turn much cooler. Now going through to the ECMWF, and again through the middle of next week, that high pressure is building up from the southwest, building up on the Azores. As we go through the week, high pressure will dominate into the latter stages, so on the 16th of May, Friday the 16th, there's a high pressure right over the top of the country. Really nice area of high pressure. It will be warm if that's right, with temperatures into the low 20s, into the low 70s Fahrenheit. But again, well, it's not so much a case of retrogression, it's more a case that we split the high pressure apart through next weekend. So one area or one piece of high pressure goes off to the east, another area of high pressure goes off to the west, and we're sort of bringing a trough down from the north. That's a little bit more of a complicated pattern than the one the GFS is going for, but ultimately we end up in the same place by the time we get through to day 10, Monday the 19th, taking that high pressure out well into the Atlantic and hooking up towards Greenland and pushing down these troughs, which do eventually turn the winds, or would eventually turn the winds into the north and into the northwest. So we've got to be watching where this high pressure is going for the end of next week and into next weekend. I think we're going to start off next week unsettled with showers, quite cool. Temperatures will be below average. I couldn't show the temperature anomaly for the coming week. Chart wouldn't load for some reason, but it is going to be a cool week through that weekly period. But as we get through to the latter part of next week, high pressure builds in from the southwest. It settles down. It becomes much warmer potentially for a time. Temperatures could get up to around 70 Fahrenheit, maybe a little bit more than 70 Fahrenheit for a time at the end of next week and into the start of next weekend. But then, if we take that high pressure out into the Atlantic and move it up towards Greenland, which is what the chart's sort of hinting at this morning, we bring down those northerly winds and it could turn much, much cooler once again. So, very interesting weather coming up. Could be some big changes, some big swings in the temperature. We'll have to see how it all plays out. We get a forecast tomorrow. Come back for that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.